And today's an exciting day. We're finally going to start our series on the new MacBook Pro from a creator's perspective, of course. And to start out, because you know I like to take a critical look when I'm doing a job, this is going to be the 9 worst things about the new M1 Pro and Max MacBook Pros. Hold on. You are always way too negative. It's my job. People expect it from me. I have some thoughts on this myself. Fine. So here we go. Number 1, it doesn't have a touchscreen. Now, I can hear you saying, I don't want fingerprints on my screen. That's well and good, sure. But previously, I will agree, there was no reason to have a touchscreen on these things. The screen is perfect the way it is. We don't need a touchscreen. But now, with the M1 architecture, we can put iOS apps on the Mac. And all of a sudden that creates some difficulties that we didn't have before. We can use iOS apps, but they're in this weird compatibility mode because obviously those apps are designed to be touch first. Don't touch it. And hey, this doesn't have a touchscreen. So that's a bit of a missed opportunity. In addition to that, this is as far back as the hinge goes. That's it. And so if they were to put a touchscreen on this, they would have to get a more innovative hinge design, as we've seen from lots of different manufacturers, because you would want to be able to flip it around or wrap it around or something. And I know this doesn't apply to everyone, but the very existence of iOS apps in this ecosystem now would make a touchscreen much more useful. You wouldn't have to use it though. I've got one. Number 2, Magsafe is back, baby. Look at this thing. Magnetic port on the side. You trip and fall, this thing stays rock solid. I mean, it's already pretty rock solid. But I'm gonna have to stop you there because yes, we have Magsafe, but we have this ridiculous connector. They made it thinner, but my problem here as someone who has studied product design as an electronic engineering technologist, there is no strain relief on this wire. It just pops out the side and you've got some hard metal edges that it comes out of. People already have issues with Apple cables, and honestly, I haven't had a lot of issues myself, but at least most of them have just the tiniest bit of strain relief. This has none. This is a very expensive wire for a very expensive computer. In addition to that, because I might have given them a pass initially, this is specifically designed to be able to take a kick, some accidental yanking, and have it fall out. But how often is that gonna happen? But this isn't gonna take a lot of accidents for this to start to fray around the edges. That's kind of a shame for something so expensive. As an Apple customer, I am careful with my things. It's just not gonna happen. How about this? We have an HDMI port. What? Now we can just plug in an external display without any issues. Just take a wire, put it right in there. No adapters required. Dongle life is over. Yes, that's super convenient. However, it's HDMI 2.0, which, again, this is highly situational, is great for most things. You can do 4K 60. But the weird thing is, the panel in this new MacBook is higher than that. You're at almost 4K 120 Hertz. The display output on this can't output its own default display. If this was a 60 Hertz panel, I would have less issue with it. Yeah, but it's not. So you're kind of limited. We're talking about, of course, you can use any of the Thunderbolt ports to output. Who's going to be doing that? Especially if you have a Thunderbolt or USB-C monitor. You can just use USB-C or Thunderbolt. You are way too critical. Just look at this screen. It is the most advanced HDR, micro LED, P3 color space, wide gamut, super fast. This screen is amazing. Honestly, it's probably a lot of what you're paying for in this chassis. Yes, of course, this is a brilliant display. It can be eye-searing, it can be very sharp and accurate. But Hardware Unboxed had a look at this and found that the refresh rate of this is only 20 to 40 milliseconds. I don't see it. That is a very slow refresh rate, especially for a 120 Hertz panel. So although we can get some very smooth action going on here, it's not clear, it's not crisp. So that's kind of a shame. And additionally, to this day, hopefully by the time this video comes out that won't be the case anymore, but to this day, Safari, the one thing that you'll be spending the most time scrolling on the machine in, doesn't support 120 Hz. It's kind of surprising that they let that slide for this long, for such an important thing. Number 5, Wi-Fi 6. I didn't order this list very well. You have the new, advanced, wide spectrum, super reliable, super fast Wi-Fi. Yes, I've been looking forward to Wi-Fi 6 as well, but we've been waiting so long for it to be implemented on Apple's MacBooks. It's been on iPhones for a long time now. We're already in an era where Wi-Fi 6E is out. Not everyone needs it. I will admit that's not super important, especially for the use that one of these computers will get. 6E mostly just broadens the spectrum available. You know, it's not even that practical in a laptop. Wi-Fi 6E is honestly best and most useful for mobile devices. It's designed to be able to be used in high congestion areas. My house is not high congestion. I just have one router. It's a fast, powerful router, but there's just one. The strange caveat here, though, is the previous version of the MacBook with Wi-Fi 5 had actually a slightly higher top speed. So with our Wi-Fi 6 chipset, we have 1200 megabits per second max theoretical speed. You'll never hit that. But on the Wi-Fi 5 chipset, you had 1300. Why is that? It's only Wi-Fi 5. Well, the reason for that is this is using MIMO 2, so it has multiple in, multiple out. It can do 2 channels simultaneously up and down. However, the Wi-Fi 5 chip was a little more advanced in the Wi-Fi 5 side. It was a MIMO 3. It could do 3 concurrent streams up and down to be able to achieve those speeds. Number 6, the big one. High performance. With this M1 Max chip, this thing blazes like a burning sun. I can't argue with that. And the battery life, it does all of that on battery, lasts forever. Boom, can't argue with that. It's a phenomenally powerful machine for certain things. And honestly, it is for the certain things that I do, so for me, this is fantastic. What I can argue with is some of the design elements here. These edges on the MacBook Pro are so sharp. I could cut cheese or cucumbers with this thing. Yeah, it's a cool design, but once you're sitting down typing for a long time, you're going to find that it's not just sharp enough to cut cheese, it is sharp enough to dig into your carpal tunnels. No, it's fine. You can get an external keyboard. Stop it. Next up, the throwback design. The considered design of this whole thing. Look how beautiful this is. Oh yeah. And that Mac Pro label on the back of it here. Oh, it doesn't get any better than that embossed logo. I'm gonna have to disagree with you a bit there. They're taking Apple on the back. Let me have a look bigger now. Yeah. There are 2 ways of looking at this. You might be thinking, oh, this is new and fresh and slightly retro. Or you could be thinking, it's a little bit lazy. Now, it does look a lot like the classic 2013 MacBook Pros. So, no. Is the design department just laying down on the job, or it's perfect. Is this just a natural case of fashion and style being cyclical? Oh, hi there. Okay, fine. Let's talk about the notch in the elephant. The elephant in the... Let's talk about that notch. It's bigger than it would appear that it needs to be for the purpose that it serves right now. Yes, we get a better webcam, the 1080p webcam, have some light sensors in there, but there is still a lot of real estate there. It's significantly bigger than the one in my iPhone 11. Now, the one in my iPhone 11 is also deeper. This screen is very thin. Linus Sebastian on LTT said that you would have to be an idiot to think that Apple was planning on putting Face ID inside this screen. Call me an idiot, but honestly, I think that there are 2 reasons why this notch is so big. Number 1, they were planning on putting Face ID inside this screen and had to scrap it. I think we'll see it further on down the line later on. Number 2, they want this to appear to be a considered design choice. If it was just a little tiny teardrop, it would just look like they did what they had to do. It's just, they had no choice. But when they make it an intentional notch, it makes it feel like a choice that they made. And it's also a choice
What did the notch ever do to you?
maintains some brand consistency.
It just looks like my iPhone. I'm already used to it.
I can't even
It
see
has its
it.
ups and downs, of
Stop.
course.
I can't even see it right now. It's the background, it blurs into the background, no big deal. Look at that. On this B-roll camera, can't even see it. Even if I can't see it, I think the notch is beautiful. I hate everything about
Aww.
you. You think about everything about me? That's so sweet.
How's that AAA gaming working for you, boys, huh?
Alder Lake is coming. PC for life. Woo! I hate that guy. Me too. Let's go take some photos.